Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Tech and Tactile podcast. It's 2026. The new year is upon us, and a wonderful story has developed in the world of tech. All I've been talking about is video games lately, so it's nice to flip the damn switch. So, yeah, let's get into it.
We are back.
Graphics cards. We need them.
Yes.
We can't live without them. You can't play your overly unoptimized video games without them, because VRAM
Yes.
is what you need, and guess what we're not getting a lot of these days? Fucking VRAM. Let's get into it. There's been a lot of oopsie daisies that has been going on in the side of NVIDIA. I mean, I'm sure AMD's turn in the spotlight will come, but NVIDIA, they're getting bent over the rails lately.
Yeah,
And I mean, yeah, it's been pretty fucking rough. Like, let me tell you, dude. Like, I, for reference, just picked up a new rig, and right at the end of Christmas, I got not even, I wouldn't even call it like a fantastic one. It was a 5060, 32 gigs of DDR5, a decent processor and everything. And the moment
8500G.
Right. So I picked this rig up, and not even a month later, I spent about $1,500, and not even a month later, this rig is almost $2 fucking grand.
If not over by the time we're recording this.
Yeah, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about PC building and how it was cool and how it's literally... Yeah, now it's logistically a fucking nightmare. Like, it is awful to get into. So yeah, I don't know, Michael. What do you got for us? I'm sure you found some shit.
So first, I guess we can talk about kind of the thing and the issues that are hitting a little bit closer to home for us these days. And before we get into kind of the overall NVIDIA and AI and VRAM nightmare, we're going to talk about AI and how it's killing absolutely everything in the world. So kind of close to home for me and old Codeman here. We see, or at least we have heard from various sources, that the South Carolina Operations Division is planning on going with something by the name of Project Cobra, as it has been coined, which is going to be a $1 billion data center planned for South Carolina right on the edge of Lake Wylie here in York County.
Okay, look. Before, I'm pretty sure I've even said it maybe here on this podcast. Like, before I get into everything about AI, I think AI is a wonderful tool. But like all things that are developed that can be good, it is pushed to its absolute fucking worst side of itself. I mean, said the same thing about whenever crypto was getting really big. I always talked about how crypto could be cool. But now, every time I hear the word crypto, I cringe and don't want to hear anything about it anymore. And then think about all the 40 series graphics cards I couldn't own because some motherfucker in China was buying them all up to goddamn mine their stupid cryptocurrency.
Yeah. Speaking of 40 series cards as well, when we do eventually, if we may do our CES 2026 episode, possibly in a week or two, they announced that wonderful little Bitcoin mining water heater that we'll talk about in the future.
Oh yeah, that thing. Fucking great. CES was a shit show for me. I'm sorry, but that's another topic for another day.
There was a lot of stuff, but yeah, we'll cover that at some point in the future. But that's not what today is about anyway.
No, today's about AI, and honestly, I'm getting really goddamn tired of it. Like, you can't literally open up an app or anything without seeing some kind of goddamn AI. Now, don't get me wrong. I think AI is a wonderful tool, and it can be used to do wonderful things. But it's just everywhere, man. And it's getting to the point where, you can't even enjoy buying the things that you want to buy because it's all being bought up by all the big tech companies, and the consumers are being left in the dust. This is just not very good at all. I'm lucky to have gotten the computer that I've gotten, and I wouldn't even call what I've gotten high end in the slightest. I mean,
So yeah, just to kind of give a brief overview of like, AI and why it's consuming what it's consuming with RAM or random access memory for what you have on a computer. All these different things with different like AI LLMs and stuff, they have so much that is required to have them run comfortably because for a local LLM, on average, depending on the scale and size and complexity of its network, you will need anywhere from 16 to 64 gigs of RAM just to run comfortably, which is a wild to think about because everyone is using all these cards not even for graphical purposes, but purely just for like, RAM purposes, just for like memory power, which is ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, like I get what people are, why they need it, but it's so busted that you, the consumer, if you wanted to get your own, like I'm an older guy, so whenever it comes to a long, it used to be inexpensive as hell to build your own PC. Yes, it can be. It was always like, there was a price, like there was an entry barrier whenever it came to money.
Right.
But the one thing that never mattered was RAM.
No.
I mean, you would build your fucking PC. You would never in a million years think, oh God, how am I going to get my RAM? You're just like, oh, how much RAM do I want in here? And then, you would just get the fucking RAM and then it would be over.
Right.
And now it's like, I literally, for my rig that I had, I mean, I got two 16 sticks of DDR4 RAM, the kind that you sent me. That son of a bitch was almost $200.
Yeah.
Actually, it was $200.
Yeah, it's wild.
Like, I get it. It's DDR4 and everything like that, but like, dude, like it was. I don't know. I get it. It was two 16 sticks, but still, that should not have been $200 fucking dollars.
Yeah, and just for reference, if you take a minute just to go look up the current like actual graph chart of what RAM memory, or not RAM memory, but RAM memory prices have gone through. If you go look back at their base price, back from like August 2024 to May of 2025, roughly, it was just hovering around about anywhere between 70, 80 to maybe $100, depending on the brand and like the fanciness. If you had RGB or a higher memory transfer speed, it has effectively gone from that upwards to present day. And if you look at the current top spike as of January 2026, it is just under averaging $300 for a 216 stick at DDR4 3600 mega transfer.
It's
wild.
It's fucking ridiculous.
That's just for DDR4, not to mention 5. It's even worse with 5.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, DDR5, the current RAM that everyone can get. I mean, forget about it. It's almost the fucking price. I mean, it's almost as expensive as like certain GPUs.
Yeah, so if you look at the same kind of graph trends, but you look at like DDR5 at the 6000 mega transfer rate for 232 stick kits, it's effectively went from baselining 200 to right now it is just at the 920 mark.
Yeah, that's fucked. I mean, seriously, like the deal that I got on my rig, and I'm not. I just couldn't imagine like almost $2,000, and like I don't know, man.
Percentile wise, I'm not sure what exactly like the percentile ratio difference is because I'm not a mathematician off the top of my head visually like that. But the inflation rate is massively crazy considering you went from basically going from about $100 to over $1,000 depending on the cap between effectively roughly May to January.
Yeah,
I don't know what that rate of return is on inflation, but lowered it is high.
With all this bullshit that's going on, you can't even fucking. Not only can you not build your own rig, I mean, it's affecting all kinds of manufacturers. Like I don't think we're gonna see a new video games console in quite a while. I heard Nintendo's about to increase their fucking Switch 2.
If anyone has been increasing their consoles consistently since this has happened, it's good old Xbox.
Yeah, it has. Yeah, it fucking has. But I mean, honest to God, man, like not only is everything getting way too expensive because of the fucking shortages, it's also there might be a silver lining to some of this, and I'm going to get into it. But I got to get out. I got to whine and bitch about it a little bit more before and get it out of my system.
Right, right.
That's what I'm fucking doing here. But then again, might be whining and bitching, but it is very true.
Yeah.
You can't fucking buy shit these
another
days.
really big piece of why AI is consuming so much RAM is when you think about it, when you look at different like engines like ChatGPT or Gemini, DeepSeek, Minstrel, Lumina, all the other ones that push a lot of RAM requirements, especially God forbid all the ones like with that are built around the option of having like AI image generations and stuff like that. Those will eat not only VRAM but just RAM in general as a whole, whether you're using it on a system simultaneously, just because of it's wanting to do more accurate and faster generations over a scale of thousands to millions, depending on what is running it and how many people are trying to run that same system at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, AI is a wonderful tool.
Yeah.
But AI, if I'm going to be honest, with all of this AI going around, I think people are probably going to get a lot. Well, it's not even probably. People are just going to get a lot more lazy and dumber. If I'm honest with you,
Yeah.
Not to undermine anyone who would go about it, but I mean, I have some stories to tell, like about like learning new trades and stuff like that. Not only whenever you like, and again, I know AI is an algorithm. I know that if you train an algorithm, eventually it'll get things going, but AI is just so inaccurate right now. Whenever it comes to like, you Google something and then Gemini pops up, a lot of the times it can be correct and it'll pull sources and it'll let you see the sources that it pulls. But then if you're just reading the AI, you might be getting a little bit of false information because it might be pulling from multiple different sources and then combining them into one string of text for you.
Like a spaghetti code from hell type thing.
Nah, it's kind of circumstantial in my kind of instance. So I look up a lot of I've been playing a lot of Souls games, and I'll look something up, and it'll pull an area from one game, and then tell me that this item is in the other game, and when it clearly isn't. And it's like my things are very circumstantial. Like if you use it for basic stuff like that, I'm sure the AI is fine. But like I said, relying on it, and plenty of people will probably only rely on the AI for their sources, and if that's the case, they're going to have a lot of incorrect sources for quite a while.
Yeah.
But like I feel like AI, using it to gain to look up stuff and everything, will kind of dumb down your problem solving skills. Like people, whenever I was growing up, sure, everyone had Google for the longest time. If you could figure something out, you would Google it, right? But then again, what's wrong with also ramming your head into a solution until you solve it, and then you get the satisfaction of finally figuring out how something works?
Yeah, that's part of the satisfaction of me and you being IT majors, because it's what we do and it's what we love to do. Me and you will ram our heads into something for hours, and when we finally have that moment of satisfaction after 5, 6, 10 hours, whatever the hell it may be, after pulling all-nighters, it's the best feeling in the world when you can officially claim that, hey, I did this, not some machine.
Yeah, I like that. That's probably one of my key memories of switching to Linux, where I get into Linux and I'm like, okay, I have Steam and Steam is working and all the Steam accessories, all cool. Steam, it's working, all fine, right? Well, what if I want to play something that's not on Steam? How do I figure that out? How do I do this? And, obviously I would look up guides and stuff like that. But then whenever I specifically wanted to get fan games or mods and stuff working, instead of there have been guides out there, but sometimes I don't do very well reading a whole lot to myself. Like sometimes I just need to experience it for myself,
right?
Because I learn a little bit different. I retain knowledge a little different than looking something up and following a step-by-step guide, as I'll probably fuck it up at some point.
Especially if it's a web page.
Yeah, if it's a white fucking web page. So I'd rather, instead of read, I just kind of ran my head to the wall until I figured it out. I remember trying to get specific, like I think it was like Flash games. Like I was trying to figure out how to use. Like,
we were trying to get Rufus to work.
Rufus, yeah, I was trying to figure out how to play Flash games on Linux, and all that cool stuff, and ended up going down a rabbit hole for 10 straight goddamn hours when the solution was literally just add it as a non-Steam game and use Proton. And like, now that I know that, obviously I'm like, wow, I feel stupid. Steam was my fucking solution all this time. But like in those 10 hours, I learned so much about the OS that I would have never learned.
Yeah,
and
the inner workings of the digital hierarchy of what it prioritizes and how it's built upon itself, which was kind of nice to learn.
Yeah, I learned that all for myself, and it was knowledge that I gained without having to look something up and have it regurgitated to me out on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's fine if you want to do that. If you just want your information given to you quick and easy, I understand. And not everyone is a patient motherfucker like me. Yep. Some people are impatient and want their fucking information now.
Yep.
And my honest to God answer is, what was wrong with Google before AI? Just fucking enough of it, man. We already have something called a search engine. Search your query and read it and do your research. But the AI will not fucking save you. It won't. And there are people out there who will probably have the complete opposite take and think all of this is good. And, I'm open to counter arguments. I think that I've said, I think AI is good, but I think it's just being overdone and it's getting a little goddamn ridiculous.
Yeah. So, and another thing that I want to shine a spotlight on with how out of hand that this is becoming, especially with the market shifts and the tanking of stock and everything else. There's one big reason that I want to make sure to cover of how and why this is happening. So we all know that RAM is a computer component that has to be manufactured from somebody, right? So when you think about who controls the RAM manufacturing market and who dominates the market when it comes to DRAM chips and how the sticks are made, manufactured, and all compiled, you've got 4. It's Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron. Now, why I'm saying this is
where's one more? You said 4, right?
Yeah, so...
You just listed 3.
Kingston, that's the other one, I believe.
There you go. I was about to say, you got one. There you go, Kingston. Because we just bought some from Kingston.
Yeah. So why I'm saying this is because good old Micron decided to say bye-bye to the consumer side of the market and focus fully on enterprise AI production.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
That's crazy because Micron was that's usually
the main motherfucker.
Yeah, I would usually buy my RAM from Micron, or if I had PC, if I was gonna get RAM, Micron was it. Now I go to Kingston.
Yeah. It's just wild to think that they're like, you know what? We're just gonna leave y'all to y'all's devices and y'all have a good day.
Right. And I mean, it's ridiculous. There's no other way to say it. And I wish I had a solution. I am not a smart motherfucker by any means. I sit in my fucking chair and I play obscure random video games and drag Michael down a rabbit hole with them. That's usually how my days go. I don't have a lot of substantial knowledge in all of this. I just bitch and complain to people on the internet. And that's honestly, I'm okay with that. Because, I mean, who doesn't like to bitch and complain about something every now and then? But I truly think that this bubble, unlike the crypto bubble that was going on with the 40 series when that was prevalent, this is going to be a lot more of an issue than that.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to see a actual I don't think that this is going to get any better for any time soon. In fact, I think as technology progresses, because I'm always the one who is excited to see progressing technology. But as technology progresses, I feel like this is only going to be worse.
Right.
And That kind of makes me question how video cards are going to be made. They're probably going to find cheaper solutions to make them, which means you might have more cards catching on fucking fire, like the 50 series were doing when they were coming out.
Yeah, those I believe the reason behind why the 50 series was catching on fire to memory wasn't necessarily the card itself, but the 12 6-pin connector that's connected to the GPU got so fucking hot that it melted.
That's fucking insane. it's, it's crazy.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different like production concerns with a lot of this, and I know like kind of circling back with Micron's exit and everything. They announced that they plan to stop selling all Crucial branded RAM and SSDs globally by February 2026. And I don't know if anyone's checked the calendar, but that's in less than really 2 weeks. And once everything has been kind of cut, it's over. Like after that, like you realize that like with all these AI data center demands, like consuming all of the supply, that pretty much anything that absorbs DRAM and different NAND kind of consumer products, that like as more demand comes on and they see less and less you know grab from consumers with producing, that it's just going to lead in more surge for this demand that's not going to keep up, and then eventually at some point either somebody's going to have to step in, or this like the entire like economic market is just going to go flatline completely for everybody, because it's just going to
Funny.
it's going to build up so much that it implodes on itself.
On a funnier note, not to flip to change the subject because it'll be there, but did you hear the story about the dude who was like breaking into fucking data centers, or just like, I don't remember what it was, but like there was a dude who broke in and like smashed open a display case and like stole some fucking RAM out of a fucking PC. I don't
Wait,
remember where that was.
was it the display units at Best Buy? I can't remember. I vaguely remember that. Yes, because
I
they're
tried to pull the article before the podcast, but it was like someone will probably like know, but like there was a store that was broken into where there was a fucking computer, like those computers, and like the fucking display cases were shattered and the fucking RAM was stripped out of the out of the units, which is insane.
right. I believe, if I remember correctly, I know that Best Buy and different like actual storefronts have been locking out their display units without RAM because of everything that has been going on. Now, as of recently, I know like different like places have been going to extremes to kind of circumvent this whole DDR, different RAM crisis. Hell, we've got people from Germany telling other motherfuckers how to make their own RAM. Then you got people being like, I'm going to use 150% of my brain and take SODIMM out of a laptop and put it into a full DIMM converter so that I can still have a full stick of RAM but have a laptop chip.
Yeah, I think it was a dude from Russia where
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah.
it was a dude from Russia, and he's like, I'm gonna teach you how to build your own RAM, boys. Let's go get get your
Exactly.
soldering
Yeah,
kit. We're gonna build
that's
some
what
fucking RAM.
that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, get your soldering kit, boys. We're gonna teach you how to build some RAM.
Mm-hmm. There,
Ironically,
there has been
the
a lot of there's been a lot of genius ingenuity that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, but I do believe seeing the SODIMM and the soldering kit adapters were probably the cherry on the metaphorical RAM cake. 'Cause that was pretty funny.
uh, speaking of RAM and everything, why don't we kick it back to some of the articles that you were reading to me before, like the whole fiasco before we started streaming? The one involving
Oh yeah,
our
hardware.
good
Our good buddies
yeah.
over at ASUS.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about their fuck up. Let's talk about that
Yeah.
because they fucked up and they're getting fucking bent over the rails right now, dude.
Yeah. So to clarify, if anyone wants to kind of go look at the video and check it out, Asus is I should say one of Asus's PR representatives over at HUB, or Hardware Unboxed, released a statement saying that the 5060 Ti and the 5070 Ti 16 gig variants had reached end of life status less than a year from release due to the memory shortages due to the demand, and that they were going to stop supply because of it, and completely basically kill the 5070 Ti and the 5060 Ti over VRAM AI concerns.
Yeah, I flipped my ass at that because, like, I
Yeah.
mean, Who
So-
wouldn't?
So just to kind of give you a bit of a timeline as of what's happened right now. So that was kind of announced literally basically yesterday, as we found out prior to recording this. And then now today, as we were getting everything kind of in front of us, we see the now updates as Hardware Unboxed and ASUS and everybody has completely backtracked on the statement because it was all a bunch of crap. So basically, to give you a full timeline of kind of what we're referring to, Hardware Unboxed talks to ASUS for other 5070 Ti samples. The ASUS PR representative says that the samples are not available due to supply constraints and calls ASUS models the EOL or end of life. And then Hardware asked ASUS to clarify. Someone from ASUS, I don't know who the fuck it was, but according to Hardware Unboxed, confirmed that they were EOL. Official wording from them. Then retailers are contacted to verify supply. Retailers have no stock available for to buy for stores, and then Hardware Unboxed pushes this video based on the on-record ASUS statement, plus the different retailer checks that were made. And then once NVIDIA, of all frickin' people, hear about this, they verified their GeForce SKU IDs to verify that the models are still shipping, which they do. ASUS then follows up, saying that NVIDIA told ASUS that the 5070 Ti is not end of life from NVIDIA's end, and then that ASUS is trying to streamline more models. Now, we've got Hardware Unboxed being like, alright, I fucked up. He now publishes this clarification. ASUS follows up again a third time with this son of a bitch, and says that the 5070 Ti and the 5060 Ti are not discontinued or EOL. Hardware Unboxed then requests more 5070 Ti samples as of 8 hours ago. That was the last update.
This story is still ongoing, so like there's who knows what the hell's gonna happen with this.
This is completely active.
Yeah, like, I would have waited to talk about this more, but it's just funny to talk about this in real time, and maybe I don't know, maybe we'll do irregular updates where we just start posting about this. I don't know. Like this story is hilarious, but like, what have I like? Holy shit!
Yeah.
Imagine a GPU not even lasting a full fucking year before it is goddamn end of life, shelved, kaputted, like no longer manufactured. Could you fucking imagine? I mean, like, good God, man. I mean, the 50 series had its controversies and everything like that, but damn.
Yeah,
I knew that was too good to be true. Like,
the
I was
GPU
like,
market has become a flaming mess right now. It is just, it's ridiculous.
yeah, absolutely, dude.
So just to clarify, straight from the ASUS press room that was released today, just before we went live with this episode. And I will quote this directly. We would like to clarify recent reports regarding the ASUS GeForce RTX 5070 Ti and 5060 Ti 16GB models. Certain media may have received incomplete information from an ASUS PR representative regarding these products. The GeForce RTX 5070 Ti and 5060 Ti 16GB model have not been discontinued or designated as end of life or EOL. ASUS has no plans to stop selling these models, nor will NVIDIA stop supplying them. Current fluctuations in supply for both products are primarily due to memory supply constraints, which have temporarily halted production output and different restocking cycles. As a result, availability may appear limited in certain markets, but this should not be interpreted as a production halt or product retirement. ASUS will continue to support the GeForce RTX 5070 Ti and 5060 Ti 16GB models and is working closely with its partners to stabilize supply as conditions improve. Quote unquote.
Yeah. What a story. Wow. What's that?
It's been a wild 48 hours, people.
Yeah. What a fucking story, dude. What a train wreck. Do you have, like, could you imagine?
I wouldn't want to be Hardware Unboxed right now because he is getting roasted from every corner of the internet.
Could you imagine the people that heard that fucking, because I've done it. I am one of these people, but I am glad I didn't do this. But could you imagine person who read that article flipped their ass and went out and bought a fucking 5070 immediately.
Oh, speaking of that as well, did you see that certain storefronts off of different retailers from Best Buy and stuff, depending on who you bought it from, either directly or third party or secondhand store, was increasing from $750 to about $1,300 after that announcement?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, well, I'm not getting a 5070 because I got a 5060 8 gig VRAM model, and I'm like, I wouldn't mind, getting a little more junk in my trunk a little later down the line after I pay off a little bit of my debt from this PC adventure I've done. Yep. So like, why? That sounds great. And then I read this article, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm switching to AM fucking D.
Yeah.
Good
9070 XTs.
Yeah, I may as well, just go down the full AMD route. I got a fucking processor in there. May as well go grab GPU. Never done AMD, but I guess now I don't have a choice. And then I see this today, and I'm like, well, I'm glad I wasn't one of those dumbasses who went out and bought something immediately. Like, I mean, not to call anybody out. Like, yeah. I get it. Whenever things happen, what's it called? The FOMO, like, of getting your GPU, and then you're like, end of life. Fuck, I got to jump on it.
Yeah.
And then you get it
kind of
right before the price hikes. Yeah. But like, hopefully the prices go down. I doubt it. Well, it's hard once the price increases.
It's hard to.
Yeah, like it normally doesn't.
You have more purchases trying to come in at that higher rate, and then once you lower it, you don't have enough stock to keep up with the discounted price that shoots purchases up higher than it was before.
There's
definitely a lot to be kind of concerned with over here, kind of with how this one kind of outsourced kind of lit the universe on fire. And at least to me, and I don't know if you may or may not see this the same way, but now that everyone has went after this guy, that is a verified kind of PR outlet for that everyone relies on for what ASUS, he's basically the official mouthpiece for a lot of ASUS people, to kind of clarify it simply. But after all of this was reported back to ASUS and then they chew him out, all he says, aside from reposting the clarification from their official press room, he says 2 words: sorry, everyone. That's it.
To be fair, when you're getting, you're going to get fucked, there's really nothing you can say. You're just, it's like when you're hanging out with the boys.
I wish this guy would step up a little bit, because I feel like he's not stepping up like he needs to be and admitting.
I get it. I get it. But at the same time, it's like this. It's like when you're hanging out with the boys and you say something and you're like, "Oh, I fucked up. Yeah, my bad." You're still gonna get some shit for it. They're still gonna fuck with you for a little bit. That's essentially what's. I don't know if he really couldn't do anything to clarify anything. Just admit, I fucked up. Maybe he could have maybe put a little bit more into it, but either way, he's gonna get some serious shit for it.
I don't know where the disconnect came from with this, but however this happened, saying that a supply constraint is grounds for an EOL is wild.
Oh yeah, that's kind of jumping the gun beyond. That's literally jumping the shark.
Jumping the shark, yeah.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, that's because then people will panic buy, and then the fucking we literally watched the GPUs go up in real time. Yeah, 750 plus. Oh my god! I'm not getting a freaking 5070 anytime soon.
At least which is fine. Things kind of flatline back out as long as supply remains somewhat consistent over the next couple months, I would assume.
Yeah, it's true. But hey. On another note, there's a silver lining to this, boys. Things might be a little better on the video game front. We'll see. See, a lot of people are releasing games these days, and a lot of games have this problem of being heavily unoptimized and shit like that. Right. Well, what do you do if you're not coming out with any new hardware, because you can't come out with new hardware because the memory constraints literally won't let you?
Yeah, it'll be. I feel like it'll be very interesting to see how that's going to impact the developer market. In a couple of ways, because not only will while yes, that is definitely going to be a step in the process. So we all know that, like, different manufacturers, developers, whatever you are in the cycle of stuff, they all get dev kits about, like, that is different from the final product model, and depending on,
Usually have more memory in them and shit like that.
yeah, so depending on the dev kit that they receive for future consoles, whatever it may be, they've got to work within the bounds that they get. And in the event that this gets so bad that they can't even supply a legitimate dev kit, let alone another family of hardware because of this, either that or they're like chew a hole in our pocket to do it. But I feel like there's a definitely kind of a reverse that needs to happen right now, because if we keep if we keep going forward, I feel like it's just going to hit a wall where everyone's just going to kind of implode on itself.
Or like, what I think you're missing my point. What I am saying is, with the hardware that we've got now and the consoles that we have, maybe developers will actually, take more time to. What am I saying? They won't fucking do it. I'm wasting my. It doesn't even fucking matter. This is AAA gaming we're talking about. They ain't no money, fucking indie developers.
They want money.
Like, but no, all that aside, maybe developers will actually, take the time to optimize their games a little bit. Yeah. Or maybe I'm living in fucking fantasy land because it'll never fucking happen.
Maybe they'll take a page out of good old Valve's book for once.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Speaking of Valve, with this memory shortage, we still have yet to see anything about the Steam machine.
We have yet to hear anything concrete about our good little child that is the Steam machine, which, I'm not gonna lie, it's very concerning because, oh boy, because we were promised Q1 2026 and we ain't heard a word yet.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we've got a while. Q1 is still like it'll be a while for Q1, but it's not looking good out here, boys and girls. No. It's not one fucking bit.
Not
the key consensus is, don't panic buy. Don't spend. If you see something you want, like GPU wise or RAM and shit like that. With RAM, I mean, you don't really have a choice. You're fucked either way. But if you're in the market of hunting down a GPU and shit like that, just save your money, do what you got to do. It's hard on these streets, but never panic buy. Always wait, because I'm glad I didn't do it. I'm one of those fucking panic buyers. I'm glad I didn't rush out and get a damn 5070 right before that shit. I mean, you never know what'll happen, but
and again,
I mean,
and again, kind of circling back with the kind of one of the core consensuses with how the market is right now because of Micron's exit and stuff. I don't know how better to say this, but like with Micron and like how everything is changing so rapidly because of AI demand and how so much seems to be kind of either deflating or inflating, whatever side of the market you may be kind of on. The fact that you have people saying that, like, while this is happening, that you've got people in higher places, for example, like Micron's, like they claim that their exit for the community is better because they think that leaving the consumer market is beneficial on the grounds of that they would still supply OEMs and laptop stuff that would still have their bits and pieces products within them over like in a like an umbrella sense. But like what's bad about that is all the people that build stuff themselves and all the DIY people out there lose a literal key component for something that they need to kind of either for like work, whatever that they're building for. And like when you have one of the big components of the market pull out, like stuff like this doesn't just impact one person or one branch of an overarching like big company. It's like a national thing depending on how far your roots go.
Yeah, it's hard in these streets right now, man.
Yeah,
but like I've said, like I was saying, don't panic buy because things are going to get worse. And I mean, just keep an eye on the market.
They
if
always
you're
get
ever
worse before they get better. So, like I said, we'll have to kind of wait it out and see what happens, because right now this doesn't seem like it's going to be the impact that this has left. Does not seem like it's going to go away anytime soon.
My honest to God advice for any of you who want to upgrade your stuff like that, I mean, for those of you who don't even like who are trying to build PCs and stuff, I can't believe I'm going to say this. It's sacrilege, but you're better off buying a pre-built PC and then going from there.
Yeah.
You are not going down the route of building your own PC is far more expensive than getting a pre-built. And I would normally not say that, but I mean, people, you can get fucked with your prices these days with GPUs and stuff. So the bottom line, I don't know. Go down to your local fucking tech store, Best Buy, like whatever the hell you got. Yeah. I even hear Rent-A-Center is actually doing not that bad right now. I mean, I've heard things.
I would hate to see what Micro Center is like right now.
I don't know. I haven't. I mean, I might take you to one in Charlotte, and we'll figure out what the hell that's going on.
Yeah.
Like, there's a good one in Charlotte that we can go look at. But I mean, yeah. Just keep an eye on prices. Don't buy from third party, like from scalpers or anything like that.
Right.
And just kind of stay strong. Things are gonna get rough, and I'm not gonna lie. If you're still trying to get into the PC market, your best bet is pre-built.
Data centers are killing everybody right now, because pre-builts are really your own. I feel like pre-builts in this sense currently is like a modern day like computer like financial safety net, because I feel like if you don't go pre-built, you're not gonna have what you want when you need it, because right now there's really no other comfortable option than having like a pre-built safety net, if I'm being completely honest.
It's true. The last thing I would like to talk about, since we're doing this, you want to talk about the fucking CEO of Microsoft and then NVIDIA and stuff like that, and how much they're shilling out for AI and how they're getting absolutely roasted.
Oh, I mean, yeah, their little fancy performances that they put on.
Yeah, you remember? I don't remember his name, Satya Nadella. I don't remember his name. It's the Microsoft CEO, and he was like, people need to get past calling AI slop, and then micro slop started trending.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. So with, oh, Lord, I can see his face, because when you look at the dude from NVIDIA, you know exactly who he is, kind of immediately.
Yeah.
I think for Microsoft, it's Satya Nadella.
Satya. Yeah. Nadella.
I'm trying to remember NVIDIA's guy's name. I can see his face. Jensen Huang. That's it. Jensen Huang.
Yeah. Jensen Huang. Yeah. Both of these guys, they are like.
They're the biggest ballers in the court right now. When it comes to pushing the glorified benefits of AI. And when
have we heard from Google? I don't hear Google. I mean, I know Google's obviously doing it. They have Gemini, but I haven't heard Google getting roasted like these guys have lately. Like, I guess because they're new. Maybe Google started. I don't know.
So I still feel like Google in their own little bubble, while they obviously are in NVIDIA's and Microsoft's shadow a little bit more publicly than, I would say they're being a little bit more publicly cautious as compared to what NVIDIA and Microsoft is doing, kind of stepping into the limelight with this. But if you think about it, they push AI across their products pretty much as Microsoft, because like when you look at their search engine, for one, because you've already pointed that out, and then like when you go to your Gmail, how they have their AI thing to like where you can filter and like do whatever you need within your Gmail bubble. You have that.
Yeah.
Hell, if you even think about it, their fucking Androids, Google Pixels, is 8 with AI.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, so while yes, I would agree, they're not in the forefront as much as the other two by far. However, they are just as deadly.
But yeah, back to these guys.
Yeah, so I would feel like The biggest thing that I would say I've seen, um, at least with how Google approaches most of kind of their Lord, what's the word I'm looking for? Their how they want to make their like outlook on an AI look to their kind of employees for like their development strategy or their PR strategy, however you want to say it, is it's like if you took full stack development but you applied AI to that full stack. So kind of basically if you kind of go down the hierarchy line for what they do, is you've got all the different Gemini branches. You've got all like their TPU accelerators. You've got the AI Android features. You've got like their search engine like overhaul optimizations that they've done. They're doing it for at least from like what we've said and what we've seen. All of their different products stack and connect in such a interconnected, jointed way that the process flow is connected because of AI, because everything that they do is wanting to fuel and push AI to the point where they don't have to do much on the back end anymore, because I feel like all of their workspace is becoming more AI tool centric. Does that make sense?
Yeah, have we heard anything about Apple doing anything with AI? I know they are, but like,
So as
I'm
far
not
as
getting a lot of.
Apple goes,
I'm not
I'm
seeing a
trying
lot
to
of shit.
remember Apple's crap off the top of my head.
I don't
Um
have it. Like, I have an iPhone, and I'm not seeing a shit ton of AI. At least whenever I use my phone, I'm not. I know. I think
So
it's there.
I was gonna ask. I don't know what Apple's default is when it comes to searching. Because I don't know if you have yours defaulted to stuff like Google or like with your screen
They're
reader
basic.
and Siri and stuff. Because I feel like Siri does is read you what Google pulls. Correct?
Yeah. It literally just searches the web and then pulls out stuff. Like, I guess you could consider Siri like a type of AI, but Siri's been around for ages. I don't know how to.
I feel like while yes, Apple based off of like different things that I've seen in the market. Well, yes, I'll fully admit I am not an Apple guy. I'm fully, Samsung Galaxy. Um, while yes, they're considering AI in different like bits and pieces, especially with like probably the biggest one that I can think of off the top of my head that they were talking about before was their Vision
I think it's
Pro
in their.
headset.
I think it's also in their new Mac. Like their new Mac
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I've seen that, yeah. So again, Apple compared to pretty much every other UI ecosystem still is that beautiful walled garden of Apple. While yes, they're still trimming the exterior with AI, I would say, I don't think that at their core that they're publicly pushing AI. I feel like they're testing it more on their platform in a more like onboarded, private, invisible sense. Does that make sense?
Seems like it because it's not when I use because I'm an iPhone user and it's not in my face all over my stuff. Like
Right.
I'm not seeing it pushed whenever I use the like my phone. So that's just why I'm curious. But that's all I use. I don't have
Because
a
I feel
Mac.
like,
I don't know how Macs do it
yeah,
or whatnot.
because I feel like if you kind of go back in time a little bit, back to the olden days, shall we say, when ChatGPT first became somewhat prevalent, Apple didn't have really anything or really any real strategy for that time, because all they really had was Siri, kind of at the drop of a hat. So, um, the only other thing as of recently that they did kind of stepping in was I know that they were in talks with different pieces of Gemini, but I haven't really studied up on where that went. That was like the last thing that I saw that they were trying to do around the time when the Vision Pro kind of became restructured, if you will, to the public. But I do know now, without a doubt, that their internal team, kind of when it comes to their research and development for stuff like that, probably has become exponentially much larger.
Right. But yeah, I just thought I would at least bring up the micro slop thing because I thought that was really hilarious seeing
Yeah,
that, and then and then
because I
freaking
know. I know that Apple. I know I don't mean to be stuck on this, but I know that Apple, again, in the sense of it being a walled garden, there. I don't think that I don't know if you would agree with me on this, but I don't think that Apple has ever been the company that's like, I got to get out the door first. They were always the ones to be kind of withheld so that they could release something that is worthy of polish to their Garden of Eden folk. You know what I mean?
Right. I got to do more research on it before because we're not done talking about this subject.
No, not at all.
And definitely, I think I'm going to call it here just because this was a lot of information and a lot to talk about. But yeah, I mean, for those of you who, are into the know of AI, do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you wish that there was more of it or less of it? Do you think Microsoft is micro slop? I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Give me some stuff. Did I whine and bitch enough about AI? Or did I not whine and bitch enough? Only time will tell. But for this one, I think that's really it. I've got nothing more. I'm out of gas.
Yeah.
So
and as always, I mean, y'all know where to find us. We have all of our social links kind of everywhere in the ether, techandtactile.com. We have our link tree down in the description. We are on all social platforms. So again, please let us know your thoughts and comments down below in any of our comments, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, all the places. We would love to hear from you guys. All of the support for all of our platforms as of recently have been amazing. We are glad to be back, and let's make this year a good one, people. We're glad to be back. We're glad to have you. We're going to be having some really good times this year. I can feel it. And as always, people, stay accessible.
yes, stay accessible.